Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to the One Perspective to Another podcast. I am your host, A. Sanders, and I'm here today with a special episode of the One Perspective to Another podcast. This is episode 120. And I'm going to start this out by being peaceful and giving my absolute positivity to Mr. Joe Biden and Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. This election season, this time of the year, It made me have a lot of different perspectives, to say the least, about things. So this episode is going to be strictly about my perspective about what's going on with the president-elect and everything revolving around that. So with that being said, first I'm going to start with the positives. Always start with the positives. And my first positive that I take the most, and I am truly humbled and honored to be a part of, to be able to see, is Kamala Harris being the first woman, and I put emphasis on the woman part first, being the first woman Vice President of the United States of America. That is a cosmic achievement. That is a beyond any imagination has ever seen, thought to be capable of, or anything. And it goes beyond the moment that I feel of celebration and glee. The glee that is going on with that is well noted and well documented, and it is valid of that. And I do not want to disrespect that without saying that I am extremely happy and honored to be present in this environment, to see that, to have young women in this world be able to have a woman to look up to have an idol, I guess you can say, to aspire to be. Everything that you want, that dream as a child to be, to turn into goals as a young adolescent, to be making it the thing that inspires you every day as you're a young woman. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to witness. And I'm not taking anything away from her when it comes to that. Hard work, dedication, that's what you get. You get success. You get to be on top of the mountaintop. And like she said in her speech as well, she may be the first, but she will not be the last. And I'm hopeful that one day we do see a female president. One day we do see true progression. And it's important that we do. It's important that the tide turns and change is truly here and not just talked about. What else was I going to say about that? It's nothing really else needs to be said about it. It's a beautiful thing. It's a great thing. But also on the same token, my biggest thing with the celebration and the glee is that I didn't feel that way. I truly did not feel the happiness. I did not feel the glee. I didn't feel the joy, the overcoming. I had a conversation with a few people And I fully understand where the glee comes from. I fully understand the mode or the moment of feeling like, hey, Donald Trump did X, Y, Z. That makes me feel better. You can go back. I'm on the record of saying, with all of it, every time a president is elected, it is just off his feelings or off the people's feelings. And I think back to when Trump was first elected and how it made them people with them tiki torches come out, and that's just the first image that pops into my head. And then I think back to when Obama was elected president, how it made black people feel empowered. And I said it in my podcast this time last year, or 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, 3 and some change, that Donald Trump becoming president made certain people feel empowered with their racism and their moods. And I'm going to be strictly honest and talk about this as if I am in a sphere with no oxygen. So everything is created equal, and it is just talked about in a logical sense. So with that being said, I just want to make that clear, because I don't want people to misinterpret what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is just my perspective, and it's just how I see what's going on right now. But for me, Joe Biden being elected president, it didn't move me. It didn't sway me. It didn't make me want to go out and celebrate. It didn't want to make me go out to the lake and be with everybody else. And also shout out to Kamala for being from the town business always. We'll get back to her too. But back to this. It didn't make me want to celebrate, because not so long ago, there was a mood and a mode where I had conversations with people about what was going on in the environment in the world and in America that was just beyond belief. And it sparked a whole movement. And it's not the movement that I'm talking about. It's the suppressed feelings and thoughts and fears of being black in America. And those conversations that I had with people, they weren't the cliche of, oh, we're going to post this on social media because it's this or it's that. It's the things that were experienced and still are experienced every single day. And the things that go underline, that you have conversations with people who don't always understand, where you educate them and tell you how you feel, there is no solution to stop those feelings. And that feeling is the reason why I don't have any glee, because the way people are celebrating, at least just from my perspective, I know a lot will say that it's just a small victory and we need to celebrate this and just getting Donald Trump out. But I don't feel that way. I don't agree with that. And Joe Biden being elected president doesn't make those feelings go away from me. It doesn't delete my trauma of the past few months, not let alone my life. And I don't want to sound biased in that sense either, because Obama, as much as we all love him, he didn't do that for me either. He gave me a feeling of empowerment, but he did not take away those feelings that I felt. He did not take away any of my fear. He did not make me feel safe in my own world. Yes, the president is very important, but he is just one man who controls his environment and is 1/3 of a more powerful entity. I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet and a lot of posts talking about, this man is for you, but he don't even know your name, and just I was on Viola Davis' page, and it said, to all those people who voted from a place of hope and courage, not fear, we did this today. Today is what makes America great. In the name of John Lewis, George Floyd, Aubrey, Breonna Taylor, Wallace, women 540 plus undocumented children, the LGBTQ community, and many others sitting in preparatory glory, glory, glory when John Legend was singing his song. And this is the thing that always gets me with the celebrity too. Like, I understand it. I really do. It's a good moment that for that reason. But like, is that really justice? Is that really just? Is Donald Trump taking out of office making that pain go away? Is it making these people's death any lesser? He was not the cause of those people dying. It was those individuals. And I've done podcasts about these people, these people. And I just do not find the logic in Donald Trump being X and it applying to all of these things. Because my suppression of that is I'm the black man in that situation where I'm supposed to feel the pressure of Donald Trump affecting my everyday life because people call him the racist, people call him that. My feeling about it is Donald Trump did everything that he's supposed to do as him being an American, and he fed on people being racist, and he knew exactly what he was doing. Yes, I understand that that's not right, but it's still those people and using his influence. His influence was just a little tickle. These people still, they felt that way before Donald Trump. 70 million of them. Okay, that's a little bit too much, but maybe a good 30 to 40 million of them didn't give a fuck about anything or didn't give a fuck about what Donald Trump was talking about before he became president and he fed into it. They hated me before Donald Trump was in office. So the celebration for me is like, I still got my eyes open. I still got my eyes peeled. I still am in the same position of thoughts and provoking my own internal thought process of just trying to be human. First of all, as much as I live my life in trying to be human, I'm still reminded of my color and my skin, and at multiple points in my life, not only this week, but weeks moving forward. Whether it's Biden, whether it's Kanye, whether it's Obama, whoever it is, it doesn't change the fact of what I'm living through. And that's my main concern, or my main topic to everything about it, because I just don't feel the need to celebrate for feeling the same. And like I said earlier, yes, people will argue with me and say it's the small victories, and like how I explained with Trump's influence, but his influence is just influence. Those people already had that hate. Those people already felt the way they felt before Trump. So it's like, where's the win for me? Where's the win for that? And I don't think it is one. I'm still feeling the same way I felt before. And I don't know if it's just people and having short-term memory to news cycles, because it wasn't that long ago that there was lynching people or fake lynching people at the lake and all of this, and people getting shot, people getting killed, and police brutality, and the fight and the debating between white people and black people, and white people trying to be more than they're supposed to be, and the ones who are actually there supporting people, it's like they don't know what to say, but they just want to be present. Like, where's that energy at? I don't think anything got solved in that. I mean, shit progressed. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say that it didn't. But I'm like, that's what I want to have glee and joy for. I want to have glee and joy where it's people actually respecting me being a human, people respecting LGBT people, LGBTQ people. Sorry if I said it wrong. Recording is kind of late. But yeah, like, it just, I don't know. It didn't sit well with me. I don't know if it's because of me getting older. I don't know if it's because of just seeing more of the world and us still being in a pandemic. And that's another thing too. Like, if all, and I don't know if it's just a biasy thing of like when Democrats see Republicans doing something, it's like, it's the end of the world and we living through a pandemic. But Democrats was out partying and celebrating today, but you don't hear nobody talking about, you need to go quarantine for 12 days after this. It's like it's biasy, and that's the shit that I hate. And that's the whole thing about these parties and this party system, and just you pick and choose one side, you on that side forever. Like I said in the other podcast, vote for your needs, vote for what you need, what you think that's best. And I just found that really irritating because there's people who are still literally out here with compromised immune systems, people with disabilities, people who are old and gotta have triple checks and quadruple checks of they breathing and all that, but nobody talked about it then. But when that's the main concern about us going into a pandemic and it coming on flu season, that these people aren't taken care of when it comes to health care, and you got shit like a month left to sign up for Obamacare and all this shit. So it's like, I don't understand where the glee comes from. Like, because what's the conversation going to be after tomorrow? Like, is it going to be, let's get to work? Is it going to be, honestly, I don't even know what Biden is really talking about. Another thing with him, I just hate the fact that he always talks about it being an empty chair in your family's house from COVID. Like, stop trying to get these fear tactics on me, and not even just me. Like, it don't do nothing to me, but just talking to America like that. Yes, I understand that COVID is still affecting millions of people and hundreds of thousands of people. But like, to use that and constantly say it to the American people, I just don't really agree with that. But like I always say, it's just my perspective, just my opinion about things, because I don't know where that goes. I don't really know where that leads. I don't know if it really does anything. And another thing that I saw is it had the Obama hope, then it had Trump with hate, and then it had Biden with heal. And this puts me back full circle where even when I was younger, I always just say the only thing that the President of the United States makes people do is feel. And these are all intangibles of things. We can paint one black, we could paint one white. I don't mean black and white in that sense. I mean just like it's an intangible. Hope is an intangible. Hate is an intangible. Healing is an intangible. You can't put something together and create hope physically. I mean, you can create hope where it's seen and you can feel it, but you can't put hope in a bottle and go sell it. You can't put hate in a bottle and go sell it. You can't put healing, and by healing, I mean healing of the mind and soul, not healing of the body. Because if it's healing of the body, then that's different. But if it's healing of the soul, and I think that's what people are feeling today, and that's why they're celebrating, because it's been a pandemic and it's been something. That's the real main reason. I'm gonna get back to this. That's the real main reason why I feel people are also celebrating, because 2020 has been a hell of a year, and finally getting a victory in that sense is great. And now I can see. That's why I do this podcast, gaining my own clarity and understanding. So that's completely valid, but it's still not for me. I don't have those feelings. I don't have those thoughts. But yeah, 2020 been shit. Having Donald Trump being losing an election and doing all the "I'ma sue you" and seeing somebody be a sore loser was very entertaining. But back to the hope, hate, and heal. I put that in there to say with how the president makes a person feel. These are the things that each of these presidents made people feel. I don't know yet. He's not even the president yet. I don't know if Biden's going to give people healing per se, but we shall see. But we know for a fact that Obama gave people hope. We know for a fact that Trump gave people hate, or hate-filled hearts, I guess you can say, towards people. A lot of disrespect. And I don't want to sit up here and say that it's not right or wrong to bash a president, because all of these people have flaws. All of these people are human, just like me and you. So I don't want to sit up here and make it seem like these people are just above holiness, because they're not. I didn't like any of these candidates to begin with. And having conversations with people is always a lesser of two evils. No, it's not. That's why I feel the way that I feel now, because I just don't know. I don't know how to feel with that. I don't know what the mood is. I don't know what the climate's going to be. I don't even know if it's really going to be any kind of change. Because like I explained earlier with like all the black square shit, like where is that vibe at? It just disappeared, went away. My feelings about it stayed the same. I still experience those same things, but like what's going to change for me? And I don't mean that like what's changing for black people. I'm saying it literally for me. What's going to change for me? This is my perspective on it. But I say that to say this too. I saw that Sean King posted it, but it's something that was said that's probably the closest way to literally explain my feelings in the moment. Partially, I guess you could say. But I'm going to read his quote. It said, "America is a complicated place to live and to believe in unquestionably. I hope we are all able to be honest about every nuanced feeling we have in this moment. All those feelings are true. It's a part of the recovery, a part of the trauma recovery, and we have been in deep trauma. I just want to say that it's possible to be happy Trump was not reelected and not thrilled about Biden presidency, and be proud of Kamala making history, and be skeptical about what the future is of this nation. All those feelings are valid, especially if you're black." And that was Donnie Rose on Twitter, I guess you could say. But that's a lot of the way that I feel. Most importantly, the most way, or that's not right saying, but the way that I feel the most connected to is the part where it says, "I hope we are all able to be honest about every nuance feeling we have in this moment. All those feelings are true. It's part of the trauma recovery, and we have been in deep trauma." And I relate to that because of what I was talking about earlier with everything that happened in them 3 or 4 months with police shootings and just dealing with wanting justice and Black Lives Matter marches and being out there with my drone and seeing people marching and being at protests. Like it hit different. It hit different. And today I got no reassurance that change for the better is coming in that department. And that's just me. That's just my perspective. Because I look at also too, this is just my thought process and how I see shit and how I make my ideas go off in my head. And I look at a map of the Electoral College votes, and it was 290 to 214. And I did the map by counties. Fox News actually had the best map for this with the counties. And everybody makes the United States of America map where it turns into that big blob of where people actually are in America. And I get that, and that map is going to be blue, and this map is going to be red. But the thing about it that I found the most interesting is by county. Because the counties in the South, if you've ever been to the South, yes, it's not a lot of people, but where the people are, they're in highly dense areas. But the country is the country. And you get those vibes when you're going down them long-ass roads and them long-ass streets, and you see them flags, and you see them people, you see them pickup trucks. You know that feeling. You know it. You hate it. It's just, it irks your soul. It tickles your soul in a bad way. So I don't want to see all them people posting all that, oh, it's all good where it's blue at. But like, if you've ever been to the South, you know. And that's where all these red states and all these red counties are. It's all in Idaho and Utah and Oklahoma. And I looked at Oklahoma. Oklahoma is the only state that is strictly 100%, or every county voted for Donald Trump. And that was interesting. That was a little interesting fact for me to see. Really interesting for me to see. Really, 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 really interesting for me to see. Because I don't want to say that it's scary. It's not scary. It just brings to light like what's really going on in the world. So it's still 70 million people. Well, not 70 million. I'm going to backtrack and say what I said before. 30 million people who still feel the same way, who don't give a fuck, who don't care about gay people, who don't care about the sick people, who don't care about people with compromised immune system, who don't care about people who can't get health care. I don't know if you ever heard of the guy named Boogie. He used to do the Francis little comedy skits, and he talked about this shit. I don't know how I got on this page. Probably talking about the PlayStation or something. But he was talking about how the only reason why he voted for how he voted is because of healthcare. And that really, I don't want to say it struck me, but it hit me, because there's a lot of people that I know who care more about health than anything in this world. And he said that he is very thankful, and he made his vote to be able to continue to pay his $600 a month, which is still a lot of money. But he said that he pays more than $600 a month for all the shit that he's going through and has had to go through. So from that front, yes, that's something that I'm extremely excited about and thriving to see more in the process of the logistics of actually seeing change for healthcare, seeing change for children, seeing change for the economy, seeing change for teachers, seeing change for people with mental health, that's all the shit that matters to me. But none of that, I feel, is getting touched from me having to celebrate. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my personality. I'm one of them people, like, it ain't there until it's there. Like, you can talk about it all you want, but show it to me. Anybody can tell you that they love you, but do you show it? Anybody can say that they there for you, but are they there when you really need it? If you call and they don't respond, if you text and they don't respond, if you pull up and they not there, like, don't talk about it. You got to really be about it. You got to really be about it. And that's what I'm holding Donald Trump and Kamala, not Donald Trump, Joe Biden, President-elect Joe Biden, and Madam Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Got to hold them accountable. What else was I going to say? My mood right now is I feel like how Kobe felt when he won the Western Conference championship. Just a stone face. Still got a lot of work to do. Don't know what's going on. but you know you got one goal, and that one goal is not yet complete. So what's the point to celebrate? That's just me. But that's just me. Another thing that I had on my mind, shout out to the town business going on in the background. Earlier, when the votes were still going on, I seen a lot of people who were talking about that they were dealing with anxiety and had knots in their stomach. And that's also, I guess that's also a reason why people were celebrating too, I guess. But I don't want to see those kind of thoughts in those processes because everybody's geared about the president. And I don't want to say it, but like it's close as teetering with that celebrity shit, and that's the shit that I hate. Cause everybody talking about it, everybody on pins and needles, everybody talking about that they anxious, they can't eat, they can't sleep, they've been up. It's just so nerve wracking, tears and just frightfulness of Trump getting another 4 years. But it's like what I was talking about earlier. Where was all of that when everything was going on? Did you have knots in your stomach when you had your black friends talking to you about what they felt on a daily basis? Not just because a man was shot and killed, but because that's how they felt all the time, all their life. Where is that anxiety and detest and disgust and all of that? Like, those are serious questions that I have. And it's like, I don't always want to be a serious person. Like I said, I was talking to people saying too, like, I'm always here for the fuckery. I'm here for the memes. I can make a meme in a heartbeat. The Jordan meme, I'm laughing at the shit. But it's like, it's social media and I understand it. And the memes, they're going to come. You can't stop them. Shout out to whoever made that Marvel Avengers one. You take the fucking cake for that one. But at the same time, like, you got a time for when you got to play, and it's a time for serious talk. And it's like, I just want to see, for America, for America's people, I want to see that same energy when the next, knock on wood, but I don't want it to be a next, but when the next trauma happens, when the next person gets killed, when the next gay person gets attacked, when the next, I don't know what you want to say, anything happens, like, where is that compassion for those people going to be? For the women, for sexism, for all the isms, the racism. Like, are you still going to have that same energy when that shit happens and you see it on the news and you just go about your day? Like, I just want people to have the same kind of consistency throughout it all. Like, really take initiative to understand what's going on with these events that are going on in our history. And I can say it because I feel like I'm not perfect by no means at all, but I do aspire and try to be a positive for my direct community and for the people who I affect in my life. And I can honestly say wholeheartedly that I am that and I do that. And if there was ever a question of it, then I would do my best to alleviate that and change that narrative to be back whole with that, because it's nothing that I don't do. It's nothing that I wouldn't do for people. It's important to be a positive to people. For me, it's important to be a human with compassion and empathy towards these people. It's important for me to be that, to help people grow with the logistics, with processing, with relationships, with mental health, with physical health, with family, with shit, with movies, TV shows, sports, whatever it may be. I just want to be that normal human, that normal American. I don't want the barriers to be me being the African American, me being the Nigerian boy. I just want it to all be put together, because I don't want the world to see that I'm not doing my part while I'm talking the way that I'm talking and saying everything that I'm saying. Because I'm not just some random who sees something and isn't doing my part, who isn't recognizing and giving light and love to the people who actually deserve it. What else was it? I don't know. That's just something that I've found important to me. Like I talk about in these podcasts, because consistency is key, and I want to be consistent myself. And I'm saying these thoughts because these are things that are going through my head, the questions that I have, the thoughts that I have. It's an ongoing process, and maybe I'm wrong on some things, maybe I'm right on some things too. But I won't know until we get change going, to see the aftermath and the ripple effect of shit. But yeah, but like I said, it's always, I'm always gonna give a shout out and a salute to the first, and that being Kamala Harris being the first female vice president. It just seeing different levels of presidents. I remember being in D.C. when Obama was president with my mom, and it was exactly the second time I've been to D.C., but the first time we went to the White House, and then on the little strip, it was when Obama was still there, and his car came out, and they shut down the street in like 10 seconds flat for him to go to the Senate House. That shit was pretty dope. And I was like, oh shit, he passed by me. And I was a younger me. I was like so excited and so juiced. So I can relate to how people feel right now with change in the moment. But like, I'm older now, so my perspective as a 32-year-old man of seeing how democracy works, of seeing how the House and the Senate and Nancy Pelosi been arguing for fucking 4 months about shit that people need right now. And it's like, I don't get it. The logistics become so much brighter when you are aware and you become an adult and see how money moves and how people move and how egos are bigger than they need to be and how everybody just wants the same thing in a different way, but it just all really boils down to money and how can I get more money for X, Y, and Z for me to stay in this position. And it's just all a fucked up story. But I say that to say in the story now that my perspective I couldn't even tell you how old I was in my in my 20s, young ripe Aaron up in there, to seeing the president and being out there, to being a 32-year-old version of me and seeing how the world really works. It's just a really interesting perspective to see, to be a part of, to analyze, to dissect, to have conversations with people about. But at the end of the day, my perspective, my advice right now is to just take care of you, take care of your family, take care of your loved ones. It's a beautiful time to be able to have a child and be able to grow up in this world, because there's been a lot of right that has gone wrong. I don't want to take anything away from the right that has gone on in this world, in America, to get us to this point where I could even have this platform to speak freely about whatever the fuck I want to. But at the same time, there's still a lot of haze and a lot of heavy feelings about where we stand and what we go through. And not just as a black man, as LGBTQ, people with mental health. What else am I trying to say? Women, teachers, like all the shit that really matters that we see people pissed off about because they don't get the right to really be seen or really be heard. All of those people, all those isms, all the women who've been raped, all the people who've been in abuse, all the people who got did dirty by fucking sex offenders, like all of that shit, all the homeless people, all this shit, everything that's negative, like, is for those people. It's for them to see what change happens for that, see what change that occurs more than just on the screen, where we're all privileged to be able to have a celebration about something that we're probably not going to remember or forget about in a week, because we're going to be on to the next, because it's a part of the news cycle. So we'll see what we'll see, and we'll go with whatever's hot. But do we really expand on our feelings and our emotions during those periods, or we just sheep to the game, and it's all about the money and the dollar and being in the infinite loop? And now I'm just talking in the YouTube fucking wormhole structured talks, but I'm not going to continue on that. But these are just my thoughts. These are my thoughts about the new president coming January 20th. And another thing too, last thing I'm going to talk about, then I'm going to get out of here. But I think I've seen a lot of people too posting about Trump fired. Oh, he got to do this too. He got to go through this. He got to get his ass out of here. You're fired. You're fired. I think a lot of people don't know that once you become the president of the United States, you are like locked in. You still get national meetings about the welfare of the United States of America. You still get the Secret Service treatment. You still gonna get paid. Trump about to come out with a fucking podcast. If they delete his Twitter, it's not like nobody not gonna follow him. This motherfucker has 70 million people vote for him. He's going to have a following still. He's still going to be looked upon as a god to people. Nothing about that is going to change. I just really hate the bias and the fight between Democrats and Republicans and doing X, Y, and Z. Like, it's tiring. It's old. If this shit keeps going, I'm going to be like fucking Kanye and just run for president myself. But that's all I can remember right now. As always, it's just my perspective. I hope that everybody has a fantabulous week. This is not an evergreen episode. I want to make it an evergreen episode. Remember that this is voting time in 2020 in November. The next generation of presidency, the next generation of video games, the next generation of sports, the next generation of tech. Where are we going to be in the next 10 years? Where are we going to be? How am I going to feel? Hopefully I'm still present. I hope you're still present too. But as always, it's just my perspective. Literally, it's just my perspective this episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free. Message me. Email me. One perspective to another at what is it? One perspective to another at OPTA.com. If not, at Gmail. Send me on the messages if you want to talk. But yeah, shout out to the sponsors. Tell two friends to tell two friends. I don't know if we're going to have a sleeper because I still haven't edited my podcast yet to where I can not script it, because I have the script on where people can see the words for the podcast. But with that being said, I've already been talking too long. It's probably one of my longest podcasts if it ain't an Avengers movie, but I just wanted to get this shit off my chest. And shout out to all the people who I've talked to who've been a great aid, a great friend, support, and just bouncing off ideas and just having conversations about what's really going on and how we're really feeling. Thank you. Appreciate you. You all mean the world to me. So without further ado, we're going to end it. I'll catch you on the flip side, and I'm out.